Hello there, and welcome to the very first of SwiftIRC's Redstone tutorials with me, SwiftIRC's very own Samael. Today we'll be starting with the basics, such as input and output, NOT gates, repeaters and timing, and finally, vertical redstone. Very simply put, when we refer to input, it is any signal that is going into a circuit. For example, a very easy example of input is a button. When you press a button that's attached to a block, with a few exceptions, it generates an input. This input is then passed through circuitry and is turned into an output, such as this. The most basic input-output system is actually the button on the block itself. The button is the input, transferring a redstone signal into the block, which then becomes an output. Many devices can function as an output, such as redstone lamps, node blocks, the two different types of piston, dispensers. Even TNT can function with a redstone input as an output device, often with explosive results. There are also several different types of inputs, such as buttons, levers, pressure plates, and even the output of other redstone devices can be converted into an input for another redstone device, such as this T flip-flop. As you can see here, we have created a door which opens and closes in response to a redstone input. The input is the redstone signal from the buttons, pressure plates, levers and T flip-flop, and the output is the door open. Now that we understand how inputs and outputs work, we can move on to NOT gates. NOT gates are used when you want to invert a redstone signal, simply by placing a block and placing a redstone torch on the block. This in itself isn't a NOT gate yet. To make this a NOT gate, we simply have to apply a redstone signal. This redstone signal going in is on because the redstone is illuminated and it's being powered. The redstone power travels through the redstone wire into the block, which then becomes powered. When a redstone torch is powered, it switches off. So, on, off. The signal's inverted. It is not on, is an easy way to remember it. It is a NOT gate, therefore. The reason you might want to invert a redstone signal, for example with this door, it's very nice to have a door that's always open and closes at the push of a button rather than opening. Like this. Push the button, the door closes temporarily. Now you wouldn't normally do this with a button, of course. Normally you would use a pressure plate hooked up, maybe secretly, in a hidden manner, or maybe even openly. When something steps onto the pressure plate, the door closes. The input goes into here, into the block below, passes into the redstone torch, turning it off, and the input is turned into an off signal, in which case the door closes. An interesting thing to note about NOT gates is this. When you hook up a redstone wire, or set of redstone wires, to an input, the signal can only travel for a certain distance, 15 blocks before the signal must be repeated or strengthened in some way. If I press this button here, you'll notice that this piece of redstone here doesn't light up and doesn't emit any particles. See better if I apply a lever there. We can use a NOT gate, a single NOT gate, in order to extend this signal for another 15 blocks before it has to be repeated again. If I switch this signal off, this redstone torch will power, functioning essentially as if it were just a redstone torch by itself, emitting an on signal for so many blocks. If we want to carry the same signal for over 15 blocks, we can use a double inverter, a double NOT gate, like this, and the signal will be repeated. Signal on, inverted, signal off, inverted, signal on. This is what's referred to as a repeater. Originally, before repeaters were added into the game, this is what was used as a repeater. Moving swiftly onto the repeater then, this is the actual repeater itself. Repeaters have multiple functions, the first of which is just functioning like a piece of redstone wire. The second is to add delays into your circuits. Now these delays are measured in the in-game time measurement, which is referred to as a tick. One tick is roughly 0.1 seconds. This repeater in its default position is holding one tick of delay in the circuit. It's not easily visible, but it is there. In the second position, it is 2 ticks of delay, or 0.2 seconds, 1/5 of a second. 3 ticks, and 4 ticks, at which point, if you right click again, the repeater will reset. It's most easily noticeable on the 4 ticks of delay. It takes quite a while for the door to open and close when we flick the lever. Another use for a repeater is as a diode or insulated wire. Redstone repeaters can only accept power from one side and can only output power from another. They have a front and a back, and when you place them, you will always be placing from the back to the front. You can look at this arrow drawn on the repeater for an indication of which way the repeater is facing. As you can see here, this lever is powering this repeater. As the repeater is facing that way, no redstone power will pass into this wire here, which can instead be activated by this lever. If I turn that off, you can see that this lever is sending power down here into the block and opening the door. One of the most common uses for a repeater, of course, is to function exactly as a repeater should. This is the maximum signal length that one redstone torch can emit to. If we place a repeater here, it extends the signal. Unfortunately, you automatically get the 1 tick of delay in placing a redstone repeater into your circuit. A final use for a repeater is passing redstone power not only into blocks, but through them. If you see here, the lever is passing power into the redstone wire, through the redstone wire, into the block, and it will power any output devices that are connected to this block. However, it won't power redstone on the other side. So say I wanted to power 2 doors off the one system, this wouldn't work. By placing a repeater on this side, I'm sending power from this lever into the redstone dust, into the repeater, into this block, and allowing this block to power this redstone wire here, as so. Repeaters can also be used to draw power out of powered blocks that have been powered only with a piece of redstone into output devices. There is, of course, 1 tick of delay, or as many ticks of delay as you would want, added by having the redstone repeater in your circuit. If you only have 2 output devices in this manner, and want them to both operate at exactly the same time, place the redstone repeater first before the block that you wish to pass power through. Now that you understand how repeaters work, you can create large timed arrays of different output devices, such as this array of doors. With precision placement and proper timings, you can also create redstone timing devices, also known as clocks. These redstone clocks will keep perfect timing and will not fail. You will, however, have to remember that if you close out of your game and then reload the map, some clocks will break and you'll have to reset them. One of the most unfortunate limitations with redstone at the moment is that it cannot be placed up walls. There are mods that can deal with this for you, but you can have vertical redstone in vanilla Minecraft. This circuit, of course, has no effect because there is no way for the redstone power down here to travel up to the door up there, even with a repeater. We must find a way to pass redstone power from this button, this input device. This could be any input device, lever, button, pressure plate, or another redstone circuit. The simplest way to do this is to actually use a NOT gate. Power would be passed from here through here, the signal would be passed into this block, into this torch, functioning as a NOT gate. Power from this torch would go straight into this block, operating the door. Currently, of course, because we have a NOT gate here, the signal is inverted, so the door will be open. We can simply invert the signal here and pass the redstone signal up. Essentially, we have two NOT gates passing the signal up. There is, of course, a slight delay incurred here because this is functioning just as a repeater would on 1 tick of delay. Sometimes you don't want delays when your signal's being passed up to a door or another output device. Thankfully, there is a solution to this. Since 1.3, we can now use glowstone and some other transparent blocks, such as stone half slabs, to pass redstone currents up vertically instantly. There is no limit to how high you can build this, provided you know enough about redstone to keep passing the signal higher and higher. Glowstone can be a little expensive in survival single player, so this is the method often preferred to be used by many people in survival single player. Not to mention, this is a 1 wide design, which means it can be fitted into a 1 wide space, or even completely hidden up the inside of a tube. Like so. This, of course, is a 2 wide design, meaning it can't be as easily compacted and hidden away. However, it is instant, so both methods have their advantages. Sometimes, of course, your door won't be higher than your button, or lever, or pressure plate. Sometimes you want to pass a signal down. Now, not many people seem to know of this way. Some of them prefer to do larger, much more complicated systems to pass power down. Some of them have many delays in them. This is the smallest system I know of. It does still have a slight delay, but there's nothing smaller that I know of, or any faster way of passing redstone signal down. Again, it's using NOT gates, so there is a delay incurred by those NOT gates. The more you use them, of course, the larger the delay will be. As you can see, this design is quite economical, and you could easily just break out chunks of a wall. An important thing to note is that each redstone torch must be placed 1 block above the block where this redstone dust is occupying. You won't be able to place a redstone torch like that. If you attempt to, this redstone torch will flicker on and off very rapidly until it burns out, which is usually after about 8 to 9 ticks. It will eventually turn back on again, and you won't lose your torch, but it'll just break your circuit and not work properly. hope you found this Redstone tutorial useful. If you did, you can pass it on to all of your Minecrafting friends, and you can also like and favourite this video. It really does help and it is greatly appreciated. You can also subscribe to this channel for future Redstone Minecraft tutorials from me and the SwiftIRC team. Ciao for now. The SwiftIRC network has a Minecraft server. For more information on how to connect to our server, how to connect to our IRC network, and links to IRC clients and our forums, check the info in the crotch bar below. Thanks again from the SwiftIRC Minecraft team. Ciao for now.